Hi, everyone. Today we are going to go in another direction and another one of these white overproofs that I like dealing with from time to time. And this one is actually a rather strange one in the sense that we don't see it very often at this particular strength. And that's this little guy, which is the Rivers Royale slightly overproof. And I'm sure they say that with their tongue in cheek because it's actually 75% ABV, which is really quite ferocious even for what it is. And there is actually a 69% version that I've reviewed before, which really was quite interesting. I tried that many, many years ago by a friend of mine who brought it over to Toronto when I was over visiting my brother. And I said, oh my God, what is this? It is from Grenada, from the estate called Rivers Antoine. And they're not actually called Rivers Antoine rums, they're called Rivers Royale. And the one that everybody's most familiar with is 69%. There's a reason for that, and that's because most airlines that fly in and out of the country don't permit anything stronger than 70% to leave. This, however, is the 75% version, and I have heard that there is local bush water down there that is actually as high as 89 or 90%. That's really quite incredible, but good luck getting that anywhere else. I'm still surprised to this day that I managed to get the 90% Suriname Marienburg out of that country, but that was a one-off, I guess, and I'll never see it again. Now, Rivers Antoine is a really very, very old estate. It's one of the oldest in the Caribbean that is still in existence. Now, we all know that Mount Gay has been around since about 1703. They started work in 1747, officially, according to its documentation. Rivers Antoine is a bit more recent, and it was founded in 1785. What distinguishes it from just about all the other estates around is that they are completely manual cane juice production style that has remained the same for all these centuries. They have a water wheel that provides the motive power for the cane juice presses, and they have an old John Doerr copper pot still. I think there has been an upgrade of late, and they are one of the most traditional rum makers out there, aside from perhaps the Clarins of Haiti or the guys who are doing stuff in Cabo Verde, which would also adhere to this kind of old-fashioned rum making profile. Now, I do believe that about 5-6 years ago, they started running into financial difficulties. They had some issues making their rums and selling them abroad and so on. And I do believe that Velier came in and helped to finance a new still and to give them an export market for some of their stuff. You will see Velier being the distributor for quite a few of their 69% overproofs, but this one I've bought on auction some years ago, and I wanted it specifically because it wasn't the 69% version, it was the 75. It is made from cane juice. They ferment it for about 8 to 10 days using wild yeast, which is to say natural yeast, airborne spores and so on. And then it's in open vats, and I've heard all sorts of urban legends about what's in those vats, including bat guano, if you can believe it. Be that as it may, they do run it through the pot still, then they pretty much bottle it as is. I've never seen an aged version out there. It's pretty much white rums all the way. And let me tell you, that sucker packs quite a punch. Let me explain. Whew. Anyone who smells this isn't going to forget it in a hurry. It is really quite pungent, and it is extremely potent, and you can tell it's a pot still product. I mean, there's plasticine, there's the glue of a glossy magazine cover, there's all sorts of kimchi and sour fruits, and even a little bit of rotting oranges and orange peel in there somewhere. And you certainly can get a fair amount of fruits on that nose. It's just that it almost feels like a Jamaican high ester rum in a way, although that's not something that they make a big issue out of. Others may, but Rivers just does its own thing and goes in its own direction, right? There is a certain amount of light fruits in there. There's a little bit of sugar. You can taste some of the herbaceousness of a true agricole style rum, vinegar, olives, brine. It's pungent, it's nice, it's hot, and it just doesn't stop. Tasting it isn't going to be very different, I don't think. Wow. Wow. That is nice. It is a little bit sweet, and that's really quite good because even though it's extremely hot and spicy as it touches the tongue and goes down your throat, the truth is that you would enjoy this even as it is. Now, of course, most people are going to mix it up in some sort of tea punch, or they're going to put it into a daiquiri of some kind, and they're going to mix it with coconut water or ice or whatever it is that's on hand. The islanders, I'm sure, drink it pretty much as it goes. You know, this is like, you know, man strength, if you want to call it that. But it is just one batwing short of absolute crazy, and I really, really like that. You are going to get glue, some mineralness, some fruitiness, citrus zest, again, cherries, guavas, yellow mangoes, orange peel, light fruits. But the crazy never entirely goes away. You know, I mean, it is an amazing piece of work, and I'm really not sure why it's very slightly yellow. I'm not sure you can see that in here, but it's not actually pure white, which makes me wonder what on earth they did with it. Perhaps there is some aging. I don't know. It doesn't taste that way. Yeah, this thing is as different from Westerhall and Clark's Court rums as you could possibly imagine. It is its own thing. It dances to its own tune. It is made in a traditional way that we don't see very often anymore. And all we can say is that we can be really grateful that rums like this can still be made and can still sell and still get a little bit of attention from the rest of the world. It is maddening, excitingly, simply in self. And while I'll be the first to admit that strong whites are a thing for me personally, I can't help suggest that there's so much going on in this glass that you should be tried by rum lovers just about once. Now, originally I scored the 69% about 85 points. This is pretty much the same. The only difference between the two, as far as I'm concerned, is that this one is a little bit stronger. It is, however, a really tasty dram, and anybody who goes on a rum journey at some point should stop here, because even though the rum to this day still remains relatively unknown, it is one of those rums that you should try just to see how interesting rums can get and the extraordinary variety that to this day we can still see. So that's pretty much it for this one. And, I hope you do enjoy this. And if you do manage to get one, please leave me a comment and let me know what you think of it if you ever manage to get it. But for the moment, I think I'm going to finish my glass, which, by the way, I got from the rum nerd Gregers Nielsen when I was over in Denmark the other day, and I kind of pinched it off his table. Yeah, I'm going to enjoy this. You take care, everybody. Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.